But an advanced teacher? This is so stupid. As someone who had spent years together with Suoping, Su Lingyu gave no credit to what she heard. He killed a magical corpse beast? If Suoping was that good, he would have already bullied her to death at home. The class was starting soon. Su Lingyu wanted to see what exactly was going on. It wasn't Suoping who appeared on the stage first, but Luo Guxu. Some of the students called out their confusion since they were expecting a different teacher, even though they also loved Luo Guxu's classes. "All right, please quiet down now," Luo Guxu introduced while looking around the crowded venue. "I'm going to present my friend, also the new teacher who recently joined our academy, Mr. Suoping." As soon as Luo Guxu heard about Suoping's lesson, she showed up in advance to back him up, so that Suoping did not meet any trouble dealing with the students, all because he didn't look like a very convincing teacher. Her effort indeed paid out because several students who doubted Suoping chose to trust her. "You're up. Stay calm and everything will be good," Dong Ming Song said to Suoping in the backstage. Suoping didn't need such encouragement since he had gone through way worse situations before. Though he still appreciated the vice principal's kindness. He nodded and went to join Luo Guxu on the stage, immediately attracting everyone's attention. "That guy looks exactly the same as in the picture," a student uttered. "Is he really our teacher?" Using his enhanced eyesight, Suoping slowly scanned through the students and could clearly see their facial hairs. Next, he saw Luo Guxu's encouraging smile. He walked past her and began addressing the students in a loud voice, while several microphones helped to convey his words to those outside the venue. "Good day, everyone. I will be your teacher today. My name is Suoping, Ping as in peaceful. Luo Guxu saw Suoping's confident stance and realized that her worries were unfounded. "I should have known." He didn't seem scared in the least when dealing with that magical corpse beast. Why would he be afraid in front of some students? She jumped off the stage and quietly became another spectator. Suoping continued. "In a moment, I'll be showing you something regarding undead-type astral pets. You'll learn a lot if you happen to possess an undead pet. Or if you don't, do not worry, for such knowledge will be of great use once you go to barren areas after graduation. There, you will run into undead-type opponents sooner or later. Knowing how to deal with them more effectively is better than being unprepared." A student suddenly stood up and asked out aloud, "Mr. Su, everybody's been talking about how you butchered a magical corpse beast. Is that true?" More students mumbled something similar because they all wanted to ask the same thing. They were glad that someone was brave enough to act first. "Yeah, I want to know it too." "Did you really, sir?" With someone taking the lead, more and more students joined the chaos until the order in the venue was disturbed. Suoping raised an eyebrow. "It is written in my resume. Are you questioning the reliability of the academy's staff, or my strength, specifically?" The man who raised the question was indeed doubting Suoping, though he wasn't going to be so straightforward. "It's not like that, Mr. Su. Just, we hope that you can show us something awesome if you can." "He's right. Show us! Show us!" The crowd was stirred up again. Suoping sighed in frustration. He planned to spend an hour there, which was barely enough to show everything he had prepared to teach the students. Persistent interruptions made him unhappy. Time to change his way. Fair enough. Several students with bad intentions smirked when they thought they were going to see Suoping embarrassing himself for real. Su Lingyu's seat was pretty far from the main stage, though she didn't need to see Suoping's face clearly to recognize him. His voice, that cheap coat he wore this morning, she couldn't have mistaken these. Apart from being surprised to see her brother actually there, she also felt a bit afraid that whatever prank Suoping had in stock was going to get busted at this rate. Their whole family would have to face the consequences of this charade. Each time Su Lingyu heard someone suspecting Suoping's ability, she felt her heart grasped by the claws of stress. "Come on out!" Suoping ripped open his pet space, a small skeleton stumbled out and collapsed on the floor, causing one of its ribs to come loose. The skeleton quickly reinstalled the fallen rib bone before it drew a bone blade and began guarding Suaping with a serious look. Through their connection, Suaping told it that there was no danger around. Little skeleton put its blade back and slowly glanced at all those present. The embers in its eye sockets flickered as if blinking. All the students became quiet when they saw the knee-level skeleton, whereas Sol Lingyu closed her eyes in despair. This is the end, she thought. That guy mentioned something about a skeleton being his pet. So this is it. He's going to disappoint us all. Little skeleton didn't look much different from ordinary skeletons when idle, because the power of a skeleton king was usually hidden deep inside its bones. The only thing worth noticing was that little skeleton was black instead of pale white. Before anyone could express an opinion, Suaping told little skeleton to go to the battleground and show some blade work. With a simple jump, little skeleton leaped several meters high into the air and landed inside another zone beside the stage. The students watching were surprised again as they weren't expecting the seemingly weak and squishy skeleton to move like that. Jumping was nothing impressive for Astral Pets, but it was different when a skeleton, which was usually slow and fragile, did such a thing. Little skeleton began unleashing a dark energy cloud around its form. After displaying a brief and sharp killing intent, it raised its bone blade and slashed at the air in front of it. Crack! A blade aura that looked like a giant black crescent traveled a dozen meters before vanishing, leaving a large gash on the floor in its path. Suaping gave it another order. Roar! Little skeleton took a step forward, steadied itself, and its small body unleashed a deafening bellow inside the venue. The students on the front seats cringed as they briefly felt their minds going blank. That felt like 1,000 zombies or creepy ghosts were yelling into their ears and directly assaulting their very souls. That was the end of the performance. Since he couldn't find any dead bodies close by, Suaping couldn't tell little skeleton to use undead enslaving. Now, back! He opened his pet space again and retrieved little skeleton. Luo Guxu silently nodded in awe while she watched. She recognized that skeleton. It was the same one who killed and enslaved a magical corpse beast. She knew Suaping had what it took to get the students under his skin. Just like Suaping himself, that skeleton could be deceiving on the outside. People wouldn't know what it was capable of until they saw it with their own eyes. Behind the stage, Dong Mingsong and Feng Yanjing were both staring their eyes out after the display. No matter how Luo Guxu assured them of Suaping's skills, they still had their doubts. Now they didn't have to. As an experienced battle pet warrior, Dong Mingsong clearly saw the true prowess of the skeleton, not because of the skills it displayed, but the intensive aura of violence only possible for a being who had faced countless foes and survived. Dong Mingsong glanced at Suaping's premature look again and wondered how it was possible for this young man to train the skeleton like that. Next to Dong Mingsong, Feng Yanjing finally knew why Suaping was hired as an advanced teacher. That deadly blade strike had told him enough. Feng Yanjing was confident in his strength and defense, yet he wasn't so sure that he could survive from that attack if he was on the receiving end. As far as he could see, that small skeleton could absolutely win against a magical corpse beast in a direct confrontation. Moreover, Suaping seemed to be hiding more tricks under his sleeves. Meanwhile, the students were gazing at the giant fissure with opened jaws. Including Sol Lingyu, who couldn't believe that her useless brother's weak skeleton could be so deadly. During a dinner the other day, Suaping mentioned that his skeleton was pretty good. At that time, Sol Lingyu thought her brother found a random pet and saw it as a treasure because he had never dealt with many astral pets before. But this was more than pretty good. Not even elite skeletons of high ranks could effortlessly cut the ground open like that. Suaping looked around the venue, before he fixed his sights on the man who openly questioned him a moment before. Was that good enough? The addressed student was blushing furiously. That blade slash might not be enough to kill a magical corpse beast, but no pets in that venue could do better than that, that was for sure. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sit down then. Let's begin our lesson. Another student who was standing at the edge of the venue without a seat spoke up, "Mr. Su, that skeleton is only one of your, average pets, right? Do you have any high-rank ones on you?" He tried to be polite, which meant he was truly curious about the question. "Yet. I wonder what is his strongest pet," another student followed up. "A magical corpse beast is of the upper 8th rank. He has 9th rank pets, right?" 9th rank pets meant the strongest ones below beast kings. Of course everyone wanted to see one. High rank pets, hey. So Ping knew what they were expecting. "Yeah, I have one. But I have yet to start training it." He lifted his hand and summoned the Inferno Dragon whelp. Its appearance once again silenced the onlooking students as they immediately recognized this popular yet rare astral pet. As one of the best dragon-type pets, an Inferno Dragon was known to become at least 10 times deadlier than a silver-winged dragon upon reaching maturity. Rich families might be able to afford a silver-winged dragon if they found someone selling one with enough luck, yet Inferno Dragons weren't something that could be bought with money. There probably wasn't another one in the entire Longjiang city. So Ping's Inferno Dragon was clearly still a kid, although being a kid meant being even more valuable because it had unlimited potential. With enough training done, it would soon become the king of all 9th rank astral pets. It was a priceless treasure. Compared to the students, the adults around the stage were more surprised by the fact that So Ping possessed such an awesome pet. Telling from their experience, they knew So Ping was going to become a titled battle pet warrior at this rate with the help of that dragon. A titled battle pet warrior was an extremely rare privilege in this world. So Ping basically booked a place. Meanwhile, So Lingyu just found another confusing question hitting her mind: where the heck did So Ping find something so expensive? So Ping was already calling the Inferno Dragon back. He didn't want all the students to get further distracted from the lecture. He had been hired as a teacher after all. As a citizen, it would be a lofty achievement to help the city develop several brilliant battle pet warriors. The students were obviously disappointed by his action. Most of the time, they could only see such exquisite pets in books and TV shows. "Let's begin the lesson." So Ping tried maintaining a neutral tone. "Raise your hand before speaking in case you have something to ask about the lesson. Anyone who keeps getting distracted won't be able to attend my future classes." The students immediately went silent. They would no longer disrespect So Ping just because he seemed to be of a similar age. Owning an Inferno Dragon alone meant So Ping was not someone they could hope to surpass in their entire lives. With no more interruptions, So Ping was going to follow his original schedule. First, he would teach everyone how to survive better in an area full of undead creatures. The next part was about using undead-type pets with more efficiency. As for the last part, which was how to better confront other battle pet warriors who used undead-type pets, he would probably have to leave it for the next class. As I said, once you graduate, you'll be sent to certain sections full of corpses of either men or beasts. These places are loved by undead spirits. Not to mention that there are space ruptures full of undead types. Now, I'm going to show you several common threats you'll run into. In great detail, So Ping revealed all the experiences he learned when exploring the chaotic realm of the undead. Still, he omitted those exceptionally deadly existences because these students probably weren't going to see something of such caliber. When he had to teach them pet skills used by undead-type pets, he summoned Little Skeleton again to demonstrate and make the job easier. When the students watched Little Skeleton use Puppet, Darkness Blinding, Rotting Flesh and some other exclusive undead moves, they were again astounded by Little Skeleton's endowment. At one point, So Ping asked that skeptical student to join him and use a pet to show the effects of Little Skeleton's skills. The man had no choice but to comply while trying not to cry in public. An hour elapsed soon enough, marking the end of the special lesson. While most students wondered where So Ping learned all that valuable wisdom, they also felt glad that they did learn many interesting and useful topics about the undead. Without being asked, everyone stood up and applauded. Now they had enough reason to respect Suiping from the bottom of their hearts. Even Luo Guxue found the lesson to be extremely rewarding, even though the teacher was unbelievably younger than her. My word! He's such a promising young man, isn't he? Dong Mingsong exclaimed backstage. Yet. Feng Yanjing nodded with an odd look. I was nothing like him at that age. As all the students evacuated through the main entrance, Suiping left with the vice principal through the back door, followed by Luo Guxue and Feng Yanjing. There were a lot of students who failed to attend the lesson waiting outside, who quickly found someone among the retreating crowd to ask about what had happened just then. As the champion of the school tournament, Ye Hao had been occupying a vacant spot all to himself outside the venue. When he saw the attendees coming out, he went ahead and directly dragged one of them out. A new teacher was giving a lesson in there, right? Who is he, and what did he show you? Ye Hao's voice sounded neutral but commanding. The student he pulled away from the others was just the man who helped Suiping demonstrate little skeleton skills on the stage. He lowered his head politely when he saw Ye Hao talking to him. Mr. Ye, good to see you. Answer me. Both embarrassed and a bit afraid, this student explained everything he saw. An inferno dragon. Ye Hao's pupils constricted upon hearing that name. He had always thought that his thunder basilisk was the best among the best if all the students in the academy compared their pets. And yet, an inferno dragon was on a whole different level. If a thunder basilisk was to confront an inferno dragon when both of them reached adulthood, the former would just escape with its tail between its legs. Ye Hao scowled and walked away. Within hours, the names of an outstanding skeleton pet and an inferno dragon reached every corner of the academy. I have to take care of the store, Suiping replied. He had to go back and continue the pet training. Even though the dummy function for pet training was available, he had to manually select the new pets for the following training batch. The function wasn't fully automated. Dong Mingsong understood after Suiping mentioned the store. He remembered the wind fruit he bought for the store. A glow flashed through Dong Mingsong's eyes when he asked with anticipation, now that I recall, you can train pets in your store, right? Can you help train my pets? You can name the price. Suiping threw him a look and shook his head. I don't accept advanced pets for the time being. Given Dong Mingsong's strength, his pets were most likely of the advanced rank. He wasn't Suiping's target customer right then. Dong Mingsong was a bit disappointed to hear those words. Yet, on second thought, he could see the reason. He believed it was probably because that top-level trainer behind Suiping had not yet recovered from his wounds and was unwilling to get in touch with battle pet warriors who were too powerful, as another way to keep his identity hidden. Dong Mingsong heaved a sigh inside and expressed his understanding, no problem. Do let me know if you can train them in the future. I will be waiting. Take it as me already making a reservation. Remember to come to me first. Suiping gave him an odd look. Dong Mingsong sounded as if he knew the rules of the store. Sure. Suiping then left after saying goodbye. Feng Yanjing sent him away. Suiping went downstairs, took out his keys to unlock the bike and waved Feng Yanjing goodbye. Then, he rode back the way he had come from. At the gate, the doormen didn't stop him this time. They knew who he was now. After about half an hour, Suiping returned to the store. The first thing he did was to summon the Inferno Dragon and Little Skeleton to put them back in the nursing pens. Previously, both had been resting in the nursing pens when they were summoned by him. The Antiquity Pet contract was different from the modern Astral Power contract. Suiping's pets didn't have to stay in the contract space to be summoned. As long as they were within a certain range, they could be pulled into the contract space through the power of the contract and then summoned somewhere else. However, once they returned to the contract space, they couldn't return to the nursing pens on their own. Suiping felt sorry for having wasted almost 2 hours of nursing pens time. After he settled down the two pets, he pulled up the window to the cultivation plains. He chose the second batch of pets from the nursing pens and used the dummy to train them. While he was selecting, all of a sudden, he noticed a pet that he had never seen in one of the nursing pens. It was a snakelet of the pet named Purple Python, which had 6th rank bloodline. Noticing the broken eggshells in the nursing slot, Suaping realized that this was the egg that had come out from the 2nd level spirit pool for incubation. At the very best, a 2nd level spirit pool for incubation could breed advanced pets. He wasn't blessed with the best of luck. That being said, it was a good deal to have a 6th rank pet bred with 100 energy points, i.e. 10,000 coins. Purple Python, a pet that is kind of common. No wonder I didn't find its information. I overestimated it, Suaping said to himself. This was a pet skilled in combat. Compared to pets of the dragon, demon, and element families, pets of the combat family were generally much weaker. Most of such pets had limited abilities. It was only their pure strength that was shocking. Take this purple python for example. It wasn't highly toxic. The only advantage was its strength. The purple python had few pet skills, merely 2, namely python entangle and snake bite, which were inherited skills. If this purple python had a good aptitude, it could learn other skills such as snake roll and lurking. But compared to the other pets, those skills were not worth mentioning. At the moment, the purple python had just hatched. The purple and cyan dots on its scales weren't connected yet. The purple python was only as long as an adult's arm. It curled up in the nursing slot and its scales would move up and down now and then as if breathing. The purple python was enjoying the anima in the nursing pens. Suaping observed it. It suddenly hit him that he needed a middle-rank pet to unlock the service of advanced pets training. The worse the pet was, the easier it would be for the pet to be trained to an above-average rating. This purple python seemed like a suitable choice. Suaping didn't act on it right away, though. He went back to select other pets for the next training batch. Suaping went back to the store when the dummy began the training. He cultivated and watched the store while he pulled up the cultivation sites to see if there was any place suitable for the purple python. After the previous training, he had learned that the right cultivation site could make the pet training more effective. A customer arrived shortly after. Suaping closed the window. It was a returning customer. "Sir, I'm here for my fantasy beast." It was Gu Baikan. He seemed to be in a bad mood. He had shown up just to take his fantasy beast back. As for the training effect, he had no expectations at all. He thought he would just consider it a day's boarding service. It was expensive. But the blood soul bead and the devil's bones he managed to buy had covered this loss. Sure. Suaping was happy since Gu Baikan had been on time. "I will get it for you. Wait a moment." After he returned to the store that day, one of the first pet batches he had the dummy train was the fantasy beast. Suaping went to the pet room. One glance and he found the fantasy beast in one of the nursing pens. He picked it up. The fantasy beast had just returned from the cultivation site and was quite traumatized. Right then, the fantasy beast was immersed in the comfort of the nursing slot. It flew into a rage when it was picked up by Suaping. A mouth was revealed on its cloud-like body, showing its teeth at Suaping in a clearly menacing way. However, anger was quickly changed for surprise when the fantasy beast saw and felt who it was. Its gaping mouth was slowly closed until it couldn't be seen. Its black, watery eyes were filled with sadness. Suaping knew the fantasy beast had surely been trained well in the cultivation site, judging by how terrified it was. Suaping cast a pet identification spell on it and noticed 2 additional skills. One of the skills was quite impressive. It was an advanced one. Besides, its combat strength was up by 0.2. This was a stunning result for this common training. Suaping was quite happy. He brought the fantasy beast out from the pet room and gave it back to Gu Baikan. "Your pet." Gu Baikan looked at his fantasy beast. He was relieved since there were no wounds. He nodded and said, "Thank you." It was nothing but polite words with no sincere feelings. With that said, he put away his fantasy beast. As for the training, he didn't even bother to ask. He didn't have to think to figure out what effects could come out from a one-day training. I'm gonna go now. Gu Baikan turned around and left. Sui Ping was surprised. He was ready to introduce the skills of the fantasy beast to Gu Baikan in case he wasn't familiar with his pet, which could prevent him from using its abilities to their full extent, like it happened with Su Yanying. However, Gu Baikan didn't give him this chance. Sui Ping had to give up since Gu Baikan had already left. After he left the pet store, Gu Baikan got into his SUV and drove to the border of the base city, heading toward the barren area outside. He had taken care of the registration the day before, when he returned to the city. Now he only had to wait until the Elite League began. During this time, he was going to train in the barren area for the final sprint. Sui Ping continued cultivating after Gu Baikan left. He found time to pull up the systems shop and bought the middle-level beast catching ring as well. The regular customers that visited the store in the morning had made him earn nearly 5,000 energy points. It was more than enough to buy the middle-level beast catching ring. However, he needed a lot more energy points to buy that middle-level original force pellet he coveted. He felt powerless and frustrated. Not long afterward, another person went to the store. Sui Ping had thought it was Gu Baikan again because this customer was driving the same car and the noise the exhaust pipe made was identical. Sui Ping looked up and noticed it wasn't Gu Baikan, but someone familiar. Mr. Su, it's been a long time, Ye Chen Shan greeted him with a smile. Sui Ping was curious. What are you doing here? Ye Chen Shan laughed. We have to thank you for what happened last time. Isn't it what I should do to support your business? Sui Ping nodded. Yes, indeed it is. This answer surprised Ye Chen Shan. Mr. Su, you are a frank man indeed. Sui Ping didn't comment on that. Come and take a look. What do you need? Ye Chen Shan cast his eyes on the shelf behind Sui Ping. When Ye Chen Shan saw the prices, he found it hard to keep that smile on his face. He just forced a laugh and changed the subject. Mr. Su, actually, I have something amazing I want to tell you. Oh. Sui Ping remained calm. He wasn't surprised at all. No one went to the Hall of Trinity without a reason. That wasn't a Hall of Trinity, but a little store. Even so, if Ye Chen Shan wanted to pay a debt of gratitude, he would have paid a visit much sooner. He waited till then, most likely, because he had something to ask. Ye Chen Shan smiled. A mysterious realm is opening up. Mr. Su, are you interested? The Worldwide Elite League would begin shortly after. Mr. Su, you must have signed up for it, right? Going to a mysterious realm is an excellent training opportunity. Many people who have signed up for the league will go there to train, hoping to achieve a breakthrough so that they can stand out in the league. Even if you cannot win the championship, anyone lucky enough to reach the top 10 will have the chance to receive guidance from a legendary battle pet warrior. The mysterious realm is the key. Anyone who can secure precious treasures there or secret books that cannot be seen by anyone else would basically have an assurance to win at the Elite League. Mysterious realm. Sui Ping was surprised. He seemed to have heard that information blockage about mysterious realms was even stricter than that of the barren areas. For civilians like him, he could only find a very limited amount of information. The only thing he knew was that even powerful warriors from the barren area could lose their lives in the mysterious realms. Ye Chen Shan blinked. He wasn't sure whether Sui Ping didn't know or he was trying to hide his identity by pretending. Either way, Ye Chen Shan had to play along. The mysterious realm opening up this time is one of the 3 found in our subcontinent, Longta Mountain. You must know that the Longta Mountain is closed off all year round. Only the ones with powerful connections can go there alone. For us, the general public, we can only go there and explore when the mysterious realm is open to the public. I heard that the opening of the mysterious realm is specifically for people participating in the Elite League. The big potatoes of our subcontinent seem to have selected some participants that they want to train in the mysterious realm, so that they have better chances to win the global championship title. Anyways, we are in luck. So Ping then understood. He didn't know how important the Elite League would be. Even those big potatoes were observing. The Elite League had to involve many stakeholders' interests. Why did you come to see me? So Ping asked. Ye Chen Shan laughed. Last time, we owed you. There's nothing we can do to pay you back. So, when such an amazing chance popped up, the first person I thought of was you. So Ping went straight to the point. Seriously, what is the reason? Ye Chen Shan was taken aback and then produced a bitter smile. That is the truth. Mr. Su, you must understand that woes are mixed with blessings. In the mysterious realm, there are benefits and dangers as well. This time, our team has obtained a treasure map. We will most certainly find some benefits there. Therefore, it can only be beneficial for you if you join us. I am just repaying your kindness. So Ping looked at Ye Chen Shan closely and felt the latter was most likely telling the truth. I will think about it. So Ping nodded. Think about it. Ye Chen Shan was surprised. Usually, people would accept the offer right away given how fabulous the chance was. Why would So Ping even want to think about it? Ye Chen Shan smiled bitterly inside. He imagined that, maybe, because of So Ping's strong connections, he didn't care about the mysterious realm since he must have seen the world. He didn't push So Ping. The mysterious realm will only be available after a couple of days. Mr. Su, take your time to think. When it opens, I will inform you. If you want in, I will come and pick you up. Okay, thanks. So Ping nodded. Ye Chen Shan left after they exchanged a few extra pleasantries. When Ye Chen Shan was away, So Ping went to search for the mysterious realm on the internet. He tried several search engines and only came across something messy. There was nothing true about the mysterious realm. So Ping suddenly remembered that he was an explorer with a silver medal. He might be able to find some information closed to the public by logging onto the website as an explorer. He opened and logged onto the official website of the explorers. He wanted to search for information there. He noticed in a column, there were the words Mysterious Realm, which came as a surprise to him. He clicked the link and was directed to another page. On the page, only 4 major continents were displayed. He clicked into the subcontinent, which was the area the Longjiang base city belonged to. There were 3 mysterious realms there. Namely, the Longta Mountain, the River of Whale Bones, and the Tomb of Gods and Devils. Under the names were the background introduction of those mysterious realms. It turned out that those mysterious realms were originally inside space fractures as well. Different from the unknown worlds in the space fractures where the beasts and monsters resided in, there were traces of civilization in the mysterious realms. In the different regions, all kinds of dangerous monsters or treasures were hidden. With any luck, people could get rich overnight and soar up in society. If luck was in short supply, people would lose their lives there without leaving a trace. To put it simply, mysterious realms were more thrilling and alluring, where the powerful explorers would go to find benefits. So Ping clicked into the page of the Longta Mountain to find more details. He saw a huge dragon skull as soon as he entered the page. The empty eye sockets were fixed on him. It was as if there were some powers in the dragon's eyes, peering at him through time. There was a massive plaza under the dragon's skull. It was a core area, and also the entrance to the mysterious realm. Behind the dragon's skull was the spacious exploration site. The Longta Mountain had 106 different regions. Currently, the people on the team had only explored 57 of them. Of those known regions, people had located battle pet skills lost in ancient times, special weapons, and eggs of pets that should have gone extinct. Some unknown germs had also been uncovered. Such discoveries were of tremendous help to medical science. It was also a place for exploration, with wider expanses and more benefits when compared to the barren lands. So Ping made a summary of the mysterious realms after he read the information. His interest dropped. Ye Chen Shan mentioned that there was a treasure map. But, those areas with treasure sites could have ferocious guardian beasts. To put it simply, this was just like exploring the barren lands. There were risks and the only benefit was better returns. Sui Ping closed the page of Longta Mountain and then reviewed two main areas, the River of Whale Bones and the Tomb of Gods and Devils. Both were similar, the difference hinged on the fact that weapons and bones of gods and devils were once uncovered inside the Tomb of Gods and Devils. It stirred up a huge sensation amongst explorers. Sui Ping closed the pages due to a lack of interest. He stayed in the store and pulled up the cultivation sites to select a proper one for the purple python. Amongst cultivation sites of the 4 levels, the number of elementary cultivation sites was the largest. The extraterrestrial meteorite region alone was numbered from 0 to over 70 million. Sui Ping visited it once. It had been an extraterrestrial meteorite region numbered at around the 1000s. Each extraterrestrial meteorite region was qualified differently according to its environment. Maybe there was another common factor for them to be categorized as the extraterrestrial meteorite region. Sui Ping schemed through the extraterrestrial meteorite region and then looked at the introduction of other cultivation sites one by one. All of a sudden, he saw one, named Heritage Shadowland No 0 Bonefiend Heritage Ground. Following No 0, there were number 1, No 2, and more. Just like the extraterrestrial meteorite regions, this was also a major category of cultivation sites. But behind each number was a different name, indicating a different heritage ground. Apart from the Bonefiend Heritage Ground No 0, there were the Dragon King Heritage Ground, the Willow God Heritage Ground, etc. Sui Ping threw a casual look at the cultivation sites in this category. The time and era they belonged to were included in the introduction. The Bonefiend Heritage Ground No 0, for example, was from the 9th solar year of the new holy calendar. The Dragon King Heritage Ground was also from the 9th solar year of the new holy calendar. Sui Ping didn't know what year it was exactly, but he learned from the system that at the very beginning, time was documented with the chaos calendar, then the immemorial holy calendar, later the new holy calendar was adopted, which was more modern. Apart from the time and era, Sui Ping noticed that the cultivation sites in this category were all shadowlands, just as the name of the category suggested. There was no pet food in those cultivation lands. No plant could be taken out from there. Everything was an illusion. The only benefits to be enjoyed there were to train by leveraging the tests set up at those heritage grounds. The illusion was quite lifelike. It also meant that dying in those cultivation sites was literal death. And yet, with the benefit of being able to die several times, he wasn't afraid of this prospect. Sui Ping was curious because the system's cultivation sites included the heritage grounds of some fallen gods and devils. The cultivation sites were all-inclusive. The Dragon King Heritage Ground is related to a fallen Dragon King. I have the Inferno Dragon that can be trained there, Sui Ping said to himself. As a 9th rank pet of the best kind, it would be best if his Inferno Dragon could be trained as early as possible. Although those heritage grounds were illusory and passing the tests there didn't mean that the legacy could be passed on to them. Those tests should be quite effective for training with dragons. It was close to noon. People in general were most likely enjoying their lunch time. There were only a few customers. Sui Ping closed the store, then took the Inferno Dragon, the purple python, little skeleton and the monogarm that had been abandoned by its master, to later head to the Dragon King Heritage Ground. The admission cost him 8 energy points. The familiar feeling that came with the changes in time and space assaulted him. When Sui Ping opened his eyes again, he saw himself standing in front of a massive dragon skeleton of over 1,000 meters long. The skeleton meandered around. The huge dragon skull, its strong and terrifying horns exhibited power and a magnificent feeling that it couldn't be described with words. Sui Ping looked up at the dragon skull. He exclaimed at the view and at the same time, felt this view familiar somehow. "Are you willing to accept the challenge for my legacy?" An ancient, vigorous, and overwhelming voice came through. It was extremely loud, enough to make the whole space shake. Suaping knew instantly that it was the soul of the Dragon King. A soul constructed by the illusions of this heritage ground was doing the talking from the introduction. Suaping had learned that this was a procedure set up by the system. Whether he accepted it or not, he would be sent into the default heritage tests. The voice tried to sound imposing, but it wasn't doing a very good job. He felt the space around him shake as if there was an earthquake coming. The ground in front of him was ripped open by the tip of a bone pillar, which rose higher until it stood tall like a giant tower. Suaping checked and found a total of 9 sections, or levels, on the bone tower. At the same time, the dragon soul spoke directly to his mind again, telling him what the tower was used for. Apparently, he had to climb this dragon tower to finish his trial. By reaching the final level, he would be deemed qualified to challenge the final mission, before acquiring the heritage. In the final mission, he had to purify all 109 dragon scales left by the dragon and restore its soul. Upon its death, this ancient dragon had sealed the fragments of its soul inside those scales. As time did its wonders, each scale had turned into a small piece of land tainted by filth and monsters. To purify a scale, Suaping had to eliminate all the monsters living inside them. Suaping got the gist of his mission and found his job to be too complicated to his liking. Working through 9 levels of the tower looked fine. But cleansing monsters from 109 dragon scales? That sounded too tedious. Those small lands were not exactly small by human standards. They had all kinds of terrains, monsters, and even beast kings roaming around. Anyone who could do a good job there had to be at least a legendary battle pet warrior. According to the system, the Dragon King used to be something more ancient and mightier than beast kings. It was right and proper that it wouldn't let weaklings find its heritage easily. Suaping was a little frustrated about the mission's difficulty, but he didn't feel too bad about it, since the challenge meant little to him. The place was an illusion. The only thing he might take from it was the experience gained from fighting monsters. No matter what kind of actual prize was promised, he wouldn't be able to take it home. In other words, finishing the final goal or not didn't matter. The mission's actual process was more important. Fine. Bring it on. He psyched himself up and walked ahead with his pets. He went in through a small entrance at the bottom of the tower. Little Skeleton was the only pet that seemed unaffected by the dragon soul's might. The monogarm seemed to be the one in the worst condition, as it had been frozen and trembling due to fear. The Inferno dragon wasn't doing much better, even if it was a dragon-type pet, because dragons would strictly follow their social classes at all times. A dragon of a higher status was free to lord over other members of its clan on any occasion. As for the purple python, it only stayed close to Suaping's feet to find some comfort through their pet contract. The mental pressure grew worse as they stepped inside the tower, as if there were more dragons hidden in the dark welcoming their prey. Anyone with a weak mind would have turned tail already. Suaping took a deep breath and moved ahead without minding the dangerous aura. He was used to being suppressed by all kinds of deadly wills when exploring the chaotic realm of the undead. This fallen Dragon King was puny, compared to those nasty kings and lords of the underworld. Further ahead, Suaping saw the image of a large golden dragon roaring at him while displaying its unparalleled preeminence. The Inferno dragon whelp, which usually stayed proud in front of other pets, had hidden its head under one of its wings. It probably would have escaped into a rabbit hole if there was one nearby. The monogarm was not moving, it had collapsed on the floor, unconscious. The purple python had huddled into a coil while keeping its head concealed in the center, as if it could hide from plain sight this way. As for Little Skeleton, like always, it wasn't showing any particular reaction. Suaping saw his terrified pets and shook his head in disappointment. That golden dragon was clearly another illusion incapable of doing any actual harm. Maybe it could scare off its opponents by using a portion of the Dragon King's aura, but that was about it. Guess I can't expect more from something born and raised under protection. Heck! That lightning rat could do way better than this. Suaping turned back and kicked the monogarm in the rear to wake it up. It worked at first. But as soon as the monogarm saw the ferocious dragon image, it went out cold again, tongue out. So Ping frowned and kicked it again. He kept doing it until the dog could do better. His improvised training began to show its worth after the monogarm fainted and woke up for several times. Still, the creature would only stare at the floor like a scolded puppy no matter what. So Ping applied the killing intent effect on the monogarm, causing it to suddenly yell at the dragon image with a pair of glowing red eyes. But as soon as the effect ended, it tucked its tail between its legs as if asking for forgiveness. A yellow puddle was spread from under its butt, adding a different kind of flavor to the air. This coward! So Ping silently complained. To escape from the odor, So Ping decided to move forward. He saw a small dot of light in the ceiling not far from his position. It seemed to be a hole for him to get to the next level. After tossing the pets through that hole, he also jumped through and reached the second floor. Unsurprisingly, the dragon's wool was intensified by several times compared to the first floor. Apart from an invisible pressure, So Ping also heard rustling noises coming from the darkness. He wondered if this was all the Dragon Tower challenge had to offer. That fake dragon was basically useless. At this rate, he could clear the second floor in no time. Without minding the noise that suggested a sleeping dragon was close, he quickly found the next hole and jumped to the third floor, while only taking Little Skeleton with him. He would leave the other pets at level 2 to keep sharpening their courage. As soon as he emerged from the hole, he saw another golden dragon coming his way, claws raised. This one was only about 10 meters in length from tip to tail, which meant it was only a child. It sure looked dangerous, though. He thought it was another illusion meant to spook him, but the unusual energy signature tickling his skin told him otherwise. Little Skeleton drew its blade and began wrestling with the small dragon. Hey! That's a clone made out of energy? So Ping raised an eyebrow as he recognized the nature of the attacking dragon. Unlike what he presumed, the Dragon Tower was beginning to send real enemies his way. Little Skeleton made quick work of the small dragon and soon returned to his side. A kid as strong as common 7th rank pets. I guess this is pretty normal for dragons? So Ping decided to be more careful from then on as he kept going. About 2 hours later, So Ping left the Dragon Tower with his pets in tow. Little Skeleton barely made it through the last floor. So Ping didn't believe he was lucky. It was likely that the tower designed all the challenges according to what he had. If Little Skeleton was one rank higher, the enemy at the last floor would probably be a Beast King. As he estimated, anyone of an aptitude of above average could clear the tower challenge with enough effort. There was no way that a proud Dragon King was willing to give its heritage to an above-average human. Whoever set the challenges up probably wasn't expecting better humans to show up in the first place. He couldn't help but wonder what kind of human beings could reach higher levels of aptitude. Without wasting any time, he ordered the pets to stay close so they could look for the dragon scales. It wasn't hard to find those things because they were just randomly placed behind the tower. Each one looked as large as a small town with a unique theme, such as a gloomy graveyard or an erupting volcano. By looking from afar, So Ping could more or less imagine what kind of monsters lived in them. The scales were placed pretty close to each other, but with clear boundaries that set them apart. So Ping realized that he could see this place as a nice training ground for different pets, since he could easily find a scale of the proper element for every type of pet. The Inferno Dragon grew a lot bigger than before. It was still a child of the 3rd rank at best, but it was already developing that unique aura of a dragon. When fighting against a rock-type astral pet in one of the scales, it even learned Dragon Roar all by itself and scared its opponent away. The only problem was that its underdeveloped little throat couldn't afford to use that skill too often or it would hurt itself. The monogarm also grew quite braver, much to So Ping's delight. After enduring the dragon's will inside the Dragon Tower, it had become bold enough to face off most enemies without backing off in fear, like a real hound would do. As long as it wasn't challenged by another dragon, it would rush headfirst toward its enemy like mad, as if trying to recover what dignity it lost previously. As a result, the monogarm died over 100 times due to recklessness, but also learned 2 new middle-rank skills while at the purple python did its best during its debut battles. As it slowly reached the 2nd rank, its spotted skin became better protected under maturing scales. Suaping wasn't planning on returning to the training ground too soon. He needed time to both rest up and to let the pets digest what they had just gained. Also, he had decided not to take Little Skeleton with him the next time. There were very few high-rank monsters inside the dragon scale battle stages that were worth Little Skeleton's time. Letting Little Skeleton deal with monsters was a waste of time. After putting the pets inside their nursing pens, Suaping opened the shop to wait for customers, while he could cultivate his Chaos Star chart as he waited. He only received a few students in the entire afternoon, ones who had sneaked out of class after they heard about their new teacher owning a pet shop. As soon as they learned that Suaping also trained that famous lightning rat, these students did everything to find an excuse to get permission to leave, either by pretending sickness or claiming that their parents or relatives were in the hospital. Not all of them believed the rumor about the lightning rat, though they still paid a visit just so they could get closer to Suaping and get admitted into his future lessons with more ease. Every student in the academy knew that they should cherish every opportunity they had for attending such lessons. Each time an advanced teacher announced a new schedule, the seats would get booked in less than a few seconds. Reselling tickets had become a popular source of income for common students, because richer ones usually weren't stingy with money if they could buy their way in. The coming students were glad to see Suaping looking over the shop, knowing that their effort was not in vain. Similarly, Suaping was also pleased that becoming an advanced teacher of the academy helped with his business. He earned a few thousand energy points from the coming students, boosting his balance to about 9,200. The incubation pool required 1,000,000 energy points to reach level 4, so he couldn't use the points that way. 10,000 energy points used to be a big number when everything was cheap. Now, however, he could only use those points to open up better nursing pens or buy items from the system shop, while other level UPS needed way more points than that. An intermediate force pellet cost 10,000. To make up for what was missing, he had to wait for more lambs, more customers, to visit. He found enough income by the end of the day from several more students. Without thinking twice, he purchased an intermediate force pellet from the system. His current combat strength rating was 3.9. Only a step away from the 4th rank. There were several major obstacles during one's cultivation that required more than time and effort to break through. The one before reaching the 4th rank was such an obstacle. If he solely relied upon his Chaos Star chart, he estimated that he would need 2 more weeks to earn the remaining 0.1 rating. With the force pellet, however, he could reach the next rank in the blink of an eye. There were many powerful 9th rank astral pets on this planet, but way fewer beast kings, because the last bottleneck was so much harder to tackle. Humans, too, couldn't easily go beyond the 9th rank without meeting a timely twist of fate that miraculously boosted them. There had been many talented ones who attained the rank of a titled 9th rank battle pet warrior at the age of 30, and stayed that way until they grew old. As soon as the pellet went down his throat, Suaping felt all of his bones cracking as if they were breaking apart and reforming. Meanwhile, the astral vortices around his body rapidly grew larger and used their new power to nurture his cells, until he felt in control of a commanding force that could draw all astral power in a large area, all for his own use. With this, he would be able to cultivate his power several times faster than before, while preventing other people in his range from effectively growing. Or, he could empty all astral power completely within 30 meters from his position. Anyone near to him would not get any astral power supplied at all. Just as he thought, this Chaos Star chart technique was terrifyingly efficient. The force pellet did more than help him reach the next rank. It pushed his combat strength all the way to 4.5, meaning, the middle position of the 4th rank. Meanwhile, his 4 basic augmentation skills were also improved to the 3rd rank, further boosting their power. Satisfied with the result, he selected several pets to be trained by dummy trainers, before heading home. So Ping saw his mother and So Lingyu in the living room watching TV like usual. He expected to see his sister asking questions such as why he became a teacher, which did not happen. Though he was glad he didn't have to waste time explaining. "I'm back." Li Qingru looked away from the television with a smile. "Have some rest, dear. I'll warm up your dinner in a moment." "It's okay, Mom. No need to hurry." Li Qingru waited for the show to enter a commercial before going to the kitchen, leaving the children behind. Out of the corner of one eye, So Ping saw his sister secretly peeking at him. He immediately knew that So Lingyu was pretending that she didn't care about his lesson. So Lingyu forced a calm look without looking too flustered. No matter how she checked her brother, she couldn't quite put him and that new advanced teacher together. But his clothes, he was still wearing the same coat. Darn it! Couldn't this guy use something prettier? She madly yelled in her mind. So Ping, on the other hand, was not sure what was going on inside his sister's head. Though he couldn't care less about it. It would be a plus if this girl stopped giving him trouble from then on. As for explaining his new job, that thought never crossed his mind, because there was no point. He was getting better, and influential. That was a fact. Their mother returned with a steaming plate of a meal that smelled like So Ping's favorite. So Ping glanced at So Lingyu and knew that the almost untouched food had to be another of her many decisions, after what she saw from him during the day. It seemed So Lingyu did not mention what happened at the academy to their mother yet. Still, this didn't matter since he had come up with many excuses for this occasion. He'd just pretend that he picked up someone's legacy like those lucky guys from a random story. "Nice. I appreciate it," So Ping said after finishing the meal, which meant different things to his mother and sister. Li Qingru smiled. "Your good sister tried giving you more. In a few days, when the winter vacation comes in, she'll go to a barren area to train with the help of an advanced teacher. She'll even try her hand in the elite league." Since her children didn't talk to each other very much at home, Li Qingru usually acted as their messenger. She seemed proud of her daughter when talking about her plans. Usually, So Lingyu would hold her head high and point her jaw at So Ping when their mother spoke of her great achievements. This day, however, she only blushed badly. "Mom! Don't!" She took a quick glimpse at So Ping again and sighed in relief when she saw no particular reactions from him. She didn't know what she could do if her brother openly mocked her right then. Li Qingru continued, "It's all right. I'll just wait until you earn a good score in the league so I can tell this to our neighbors, especially Miss Li next door. I hope she stops telling me about her son being the CEO of some big company." When the league was brought up again, So Lingyu suddenly remembered something and stared at So Ping. So Ping expected his sister to barge into his room, so he wasn't surprised. For now, he would wait for So Lingyu to speak first. So Lingyu listened to the sound of their breaths and suddenly felt stressed out. Never in her life did she think that she'd get so mentally strained just by entering So Ping's room. While trying not to be too obvious, she took a quick glance at the man sitting on the bed, only to feel worse when she saw So Ping looking at her all calm and collected. This made her angry. "Don't you have something to tell me after what happened at the academy?" So Lingyu spoke up while keeping a straight face. "What do you mean? What do I need to tell you? Why you?" So Lingyu clenched her teeth. "How on earth were you employed at our academy? And where did you steal that inferno dragon? Why would I tell you that?" So Ping smiled slightly without looking too cocky. So Lingyu grimaced as she realized that her hunch was true, much to her discomfort. "You awoke way earlier than we thought, didn't you?" So Ping didn't say anything about it. So Lingyu took several deep, careful breaths, before continuing. "That skeleton you have. You had enough strength to take me on since a while ago, am I right?" She was blushing when she said that. Judging by what she had seen during the day, her phantom flame beast was nothing against the skeleton. If her brother managed to raise the Inferno Dragon to adulthood as well, he wasn't going to take her on. She'd be squashed like a bug. She knew she was no longer Suaping's rival. But she wanted to hear it from Suaping directly. It would both annoy her and put her at ease. Somewhat. Ugh. What a little nuisance she is. Suaping complained to himself. As a matter of fact, yes. There was no point in denying. Everyone could see that little skeleton was more than enough to beat any of her pets. Solingyu felt really bad even though she had expected such an answer. Why didn't her brother show any signs of it? Until recently, she still gave him jump scares in the morning. Why wasn't he fighting back? She could think of a good explanation for that but refused to believe it. Suaping lost his bit of patience when her sister just stood there without responding for several full minutes. Go back to your room if you've nothing else to say. I need to cultivate. Solingyu gave him a final, thoughtful look and left the room. Suaping thought he needed to deal with more questions than those. But again, he was happy to be spared. Was the next morning, Suaping went downstairs and didn't find his sister, which was rare. Most of the time, Solingyu would be having breakfast at such a time. Did she receive too much of a shock and decided to run away from home? He extended his perception and sensed astral power coming from Solingyu's room. It seemed the girl was just sleeping in. Which was good. Suaping made quick work of his meal, hailed his mother, stuffed another piece of toast in his mouth and left through the door. Soon after he departed, Solingyu walked down the stairs while dressed in her full outwear for traveling outdoors. She wasn't oversleeping, she was waiting to stalk Suaping so she could find his secrets herself, since she couldn't get any direct answers from him even if she asked where that Inferno Dragon came from. It just so happened that she had nothing to do during the weekend. I'm leaving, Mom. She grabbed something from the bread basket and rushed to the door. Be careful, dear. Wait, aren't you resting today? Li Qingru stepped out of the kitchen. By then Solingyu was nowhere to be seen. Busy with something? Oh, well. I should leave her be. Using her mother's electric bike usually used for shopping, Solingyu headed to Suaping's shop as fast as she could while detecting his position by using her astral power as an antenna. You can't hide your stuff from me. She smirked proudly. Half an hour later, Suaping arrived at the shop at the usual time. When he was a few dozen meters away from the door, he saw a lot of young students already waiting in the chilly morning air, including several returning customers he recognized. For some reason, there were way too many of them compared to before. Perhaps he was getting more and more famous among the students thanks to that lesson. Several students saw him coming and all rushed his way, he almost crashed into them with his bicycle. With his way blocked, he had no choice but to get off earlier. Good morning, Mr. Su. Hey sir. Remember me? My pet, training, please. Suaping tried shooing the several overly passionate people out of his face. Make way. Like always, get in line and wait. First come first served, NT to lock up the bike again so it wasn't snatched by a thief in the chaos. Luckily, no one asked why he was so protective of such a cheap bike. Suaping entered the shop and quickly scanned the waiting crowd. There were about 30 people. If he could get several training orders meant for middle-rank pets, those customers would provide him roughly 20,000 energy points. Name, phone number, service. You know the drill. The one standing ahead of everyone spoke up, it's me, boss. Zhang Baoxing. A training round again. Suaping remembered him. The guy was always there to train middle-rank pets. So far, he had contributed over 3,000 energy points to the shop. All right. An early riser, I see. Suaping nodded. If I remember correctly, you're always the first in line. Heh. You know what, boss? I've been waiting here since 5 in the morning. What? Man, several customers waiting further behind realized why they always fell behind even though they woke up pretty early each day. They silently made up their minds to arrive even earlier next time. Okay, so Ping wrote the new order. Payment, if you will. As a frequent buyer, Zhang Baoxing made the transfer of 100,000 in a few seconds and summoned his pyro canine. So Ping saw the pyro canine showing him a pleading look. He responded with give up using eye contact. He got the money, so he had to get the job done. You know where to go by now, right? Go ahead, he ordered using spiritual connection. The pyro canine glanced back at its owner with watery eyes and slowly paced to the back of the shop, head lowered. Zhang Baoxing saw how his pet was overly grateful and couldn't help but admire the good service Su Ping provided. Next. Remember me, Mr. Su? You've also trained my pet, the second one in the line called happily. No, sorry. Lu Pengfei frowned in embarrassment. He thought he'd at least be recognized as one of the rankers in the academy. Though he wasn't going to complain because Su Ping was supposed to be a busy teacher after all. It's my phantom Sika again, sir. Lu Pengfei summoned his pet deer with a big smile. That crowd control skill helped him put several more competitors under him on the ranking list. He wanted to keep going. The deer shrieked at the top of its lungs and dove behind Lu Pengfei's back. Lu Pengfei could feel the emotion of his pet, though he didn't care too much about it. He believed that Su Ping's training had to be pretty harsh, which was a good thing. Easy, buddy. Come out. Lu Pengfei tried comforting the deer. You can't get strong without hard work. The deer mumbled something to Lu Pengfei as if complaining. Too bad, no one could understand it. In order not to waste time, Su Ping gave the creature an alarming stare, causing it to shut up all of a sudden. The last bit of hope shown in its eyes was quickly replaced by pure despair. Go there on your own, Su Ping said in a cold voice. Lu Pengfei sighed in relief when he saw his pet obeying the order. He quickly made the payment, offered an apology to the rest of the customers and stepped away. Thanks to Su Ping's impressive way of training, all pets who knew this place feared Su Ping so much that they'd listen to his words without much resistance. Only a few pets who had yet to receive any training from Su Ping still looked forward to the new experience. As the long queue steadily shortened, a shadowy figure approached from one side. Sol Lingyu had checked multiple times just to make sure that she was looking at the Pixie Pet Store. She couldn't believe that there were so many customers coming. More so, she found many of her classmates waiting outside the door. That guy became famous in the academy. That's why all these students came to check him out. Hey! A bored student saw her secretly peeking into the shop and asked out aloud, "Oh! Is that you, Sol Lingyu?" Sol Lingyu was the tournament champion of all the first graders. Of course most people in the academy knew her. Sol Lingyu jumped at the sudden call and quickly made a SHH sign to tell that speaker to be quiet. Ahem. Just passing by, she said in a small voice. What are all these people doing here? You don't know this place? Professor Su runs this pet shop. He offers really nice training sessions. Did you know? Su Yanying's lightning rat grew so strong all thanks to him. The lightning rat? He trained it. Sol Lingyu's eyes went wide. She quickly remembered how she asked her mother for a lightning rat the other day, when Su Ping almost laughed at her. A-hole! He wanted to make fun of me, didn't he? But on second thought, she didn't believe that her failure of a brother could actually train that exceptional lightning rat. Not even her mother could do such a thing. Seriously? You sure you heard that right? She asked in doubt. I am. See that? Lu Pengfei is coming. He's been here several times already. Lu Pengfei. Sol Lingyu quickly recognized the senior student who always held a spot on the academy's ranking list. Yet. I mean, why would he come back if the shop doesn't work? Someone told me that a master trainer is helping in the shop, another waiting student said. A master trainer? Solingya was shocked again. Why haven't I heard about that? And wait, why would a master trainer help our shop in the first place? Of course a master trainer could help a weak lightning rat grow several ranks stronger in a short amount of time. Yet Solingya couldn't find any possibility that might get such a trainer to work in their small shop. She suddenly felt worried. She had not been paying much attention to her brother for quite some time. She was losing track of him. A man came to her with a proud smile. Miss Su, I'll give you my spot if you want to buy something quicker. No, thanks. She retreated farther from the queue so Suaping didn't see her. While waiting under a tree, she saw many more customers coming and leaving. It seemed most of them didn't mind waiting for a while because there were no lessons that day. She felt excited all of a sudden. As far as she could see, that many customers would get them at least a 40,000 to 50,000 net income daily. They needed it. A moment later, she saw another familiar face joining the queue from the back. It was Su Yanying, the woman who fought the exhibition match together with Suaping. Whereas some of the students still had doubts about the rumor they heard, Su Yanying's arrival quickly convinced them. After that, everybody was excitedly waiting for their turns. With the flourishing business and the increase in demand, would Suaping charge more? Based on her understanding of Suaping, the answer was, of course. She had just saved 100,000 coins, just the right amount. If he had increased the price, she would have to go back and save more money. This thought disturbed her. Miss Su, you can take my place here. Miss Su, here, my place is better. As soon as Su Yanying arrived outside the store, she attracted the attention of many students. They would not miss the chance to talk to Su Yanying. They waved their hands at her, trying to give up their spots for her. This behavior, evidently, invited jealousy and fierce glares from some females also present. Su Yanying nodded to those students with a smile. She gave it some thought and chose the spot of a boy who was at the head of the queue. She expressed her thanks to him. The boy was overjoyed by Su Yanying's choice. He laughed so hard that his face was all wrinkles. Suaping noticed the disturbance outside. He raised his eyebrows as he saw it was Su Yanying that had arrived. But seeing her didn't surprise him. Soon, those in front of Su Yanjing had paid the fee and given their pets to Suaping. Not long after, it was Su Yanying's turn. Mr. Su, I'm back, Su Yanying stepped forward and said to him with a sweet tone. Suaping noticed that she was using this tone on purpose. Are you here for pet training? He asked. Yes. Did you bring enough money? I have some money. Su Yanying looked at Suaping carefully. Is the price the same as before? Of course. Su Yanying was relieved. She smiled and said, that is very nice of you, sir. This time, I'm here to train my fallen phoenix. She only had enough money to train one pet. She didn't choose the lightning rat because, after the exhibition match, she realized that she wasn't that familiar with the lightning rat's abilities and couldn't put the lightning rat's potential into full play. Therefore, she was in no rush to have the lightning rat trained again. The reason that she had chosen the fallen phoenix was simple. The fallen phoenix was the pet with a bloodline of the highest rank. In the future, the fallen phoenix would have the greatest achievements. The lightning rat was powerful at the moment. However, when the fallen phoenix reached adulthood, the lightning rat would be unable to compete with it. After all, a pet with an inferior bloodline was bound by their limited potential. That was an inherent problem. Oh, Suaping gave a casual answer. It did not matter to him what pet she wanted to have trained. The fallen phoenix is a middle-rank pet, right? The training fee is 100,000 coins. Su Yanying felt she could breathe again when she heard the price. Indeed, Suaping didn't hike the price. She transferred him the money and then summoned the fallen phoenix. The students waiting in line cheered in surprise when they saw this 8th-rank pet appear. All of them craned their necks to have a better look at this glamorous pet. I didn't know that the fallen phoenix was also trained in Mr. Su's store. That is awesome. No wonder the fallen phoenix was able to learn an 8th rank skill. Why didn't I get to know Mr. Su earlier? Otherwise, I could have taken part in the exhibition match for the annual tournament. Many students expressed their regret while exclaiming. Su Ping took the fallen phoenix to the pet room. All of the 25 nursing pens had been filled. He had to put the fallen phoenix into the training space. After the store was upgraded to the 2nd level, the number of nursing pens could be increased to 50, but Su Ping didn't add any more. This was because the main service of the store was training. Few would choose the boarding service offered. Su Ping returned to the storefront so he could receive the next student's pet and money. Su Yanying had hoped she could chat with Su Ping for a little bit. However, she didn't interrupt him since he was busy. She left after she lingered outside for a bit. Do you have pet training services here? A young-looking man in the line approached Su Ping with eyes filled with curiosity. He glanced at the inside of Su Ping's shop, which was narrow and unpretentious. How come so many students from the Phoenix Peak Academy are lining up here, waiting to have their pets trained in such a shabby store? Su Ping answered, pet training, boarding service, pet rental, and pet food are provided. There are many kinds of services here. Which one do you want? While Su Ping made the introduction, the students present suddenly realized that Su Ping's store offered more than training. There's a pet rental service? A boy at the back of the line stood on tiptoe and asked excitedly, Sir, what kind of pets can be rented here? That inferno dragon. As soon as he uttered those words, the other students remembered the stories told in the academy. Immediately, their eyes lit up. The inferno dragon could be leased? That inferno dragon was still in its infancy stage and was not quite powerful yet. That being said, to take it for a walk outside was awesome enough. Su Ping darted a glance to that boy and said calmly, the inferno dragon is not for rent for now. This was the only pet with an advanced bloodline. With the contract, he could call back pets on rent at any time in case of danger. However, this inferno dragon was valuable. If he rented it, he would very likely never see it again. He could rent his purple python once it matured. As for Little Skeleton, there was no way he would rent it out. Once the Skeleton King's bloodline was refined by the Little Skeleton, its bloodline would be far more superior than the Inferno Dragon's. Many students were disappointed to hear Su Ping's words, but they could understand. It would be strange if Su Ping would want to put the Inferno Dragon on rent. This might be the only one such pet in the entire base city. Once the Inferno Dragon left the store, it was highly likely that it would be abducted. The young man asking about pet training in Su Ping's store was shocked to hear the conversation between the students and Su Ping. Inferno Dragon? Were they serious? Why did they sound as if a pet of the dragon family of the best kind was really there? This shabby store? The young man raised his eyebrows, deep in thought. Noticing that the young man had not made any remark for a long time, Su Ping frowned. What kind of service are you looking for? Training or what? The young man came back to his senses. He decided not to think about the Inferno Dragon for the moment. After some consideration, he answered, I guess I'll go with pet training too. Which rank? Su Ping asked. Wing Beast, currently at the 5th rank, the young man replied calmly. Students behind him cast looks of surprise after hearing his reply. This young man didn't appear to be older than them. Did he honestly have a 5th rank pet? With such a strength, he could be ranked among the top 10 in their academy. Besides, wing beasts were popular pets of the demon family, with the 9th rank bloodline. The young man was surely related to a distinguished family if he had such a pet. Can you train it? The young man stared at Su Ping. Su Ping nodded. Anything but advanced pets. The young man replied with a smile, but he was holding contempt on the inside. How dare he boast about having an Inferno Dragon if he can't even train advanced pets? He only went there because there were many students from the Phoenix Peak Academy, which was strange. Otherwise, he wouldn't leave his pet there for training. But this winged beast wasn't the strongest pet he had. All his pets were being trained and looked after by advanced trainers. He merely wanted to find out what the students of the Phoenix Peak Academy were up to. "Pay up, 100,000 coins, So Ping said. The young man raised his eyebrows. He thought this was too expensive. "Can you lower the price a bit?" the young man asked. So Ping pulled a long face. "No bargaining." The young man frowned. But since the other students had paid, he had no choice but to say, "Fine." Then, he transferred the money. Afterward, he summoned his winged beast. This was a monster that was dark all around. The pet had a hideous look, with 4 big wings on its back, a bird's head, a human body and hawk's claws. The winged beast was emitting the aura of darkness, unique to pets of the demon family. There was danger contained in its pale gold eyes. The winged beast coldly glanced at Suaping and those around it. As soon as the young man issued a command, the winged beast would attack. Students behind the young man turned pale and stepped back for a bit when they felt the evil presence of the winged beast. They were afraid to stand too close to it. Give the strength of this winged beast, one peck could crack their heads. Suaping didn't have such feelings. As the young man transferred the money, Suaping said to the winged beast, "Son, come inside with me." Then, he was about to show the winged beast to the pet room. The young man didn't have a chance to pacify his pet yet. Seeing Suaping step close to his pet in a rash manner, he said in haste, "Don't." Before he could finish speaking, the winged beast suddenly spread its wings and cried out at Suaping. Bloodthirsty intentions emerged from its cold eyes. The sharp claws that were hidden underneath those wings reached out to Suaping. Suaping didn't expect the little thing to be that ferocious, but this didn't worry him. With his solar bulwark, his defensive power was stronger than that of 5th-rank pets of the stone family. Pets of a rank similar to his that were able to hurt him were few and far between. The winged beast didn't try to struggle or fight back. The violence and bloodthirst in its eyes were long gone. It fixed its golden eyes on Suaping full of terror. In its eyes, Suaping was like a towering god that couldn't be defied. The horrifying aura coming out from Suaping almost overwhelmed the winged beast. Its insides were shaking and it was losing its mind. Soon, a disgusting stink came out from the winged beast. An incontinence reflex. This drastic turn of events astonished the young man and the many students behind him. The young man and the many students opened their eyes wide in shock as they stared at the winged beast shivering on the ground. A second before, the winged beast had an awe-inspiring appearance. How come an instant later, it was lying on its stomach in front of Suaping, shaking and trembling. Not to mention the organic reflex. They didn't even see Suaping make a move at all. If it weren't for the fact that all of them witnessed how violent the winged beast was, they would have regarded this as premeditated blackmail. Suaping was also surprised. Soon, he realized that the system had taken action. Anything that tried to attack him within the realm of the store would be taught a lesson by the system. Last time, Fan Yujing verbally abused him and tried to hit Suaping, only to have his arm broken. The winged beast was in a more miserable state because its attack carried bloodthirst and murderous intentions. Not only was its claw broken, but it was also pinned down to the ground. The horrifying aura over the winged beast could only be felt by Suaping and the winged beast. It was something that came from supernatural beings. Suaping supposed that the winged beast would remain mentally scarred, if its mind wasn't entirely lost, given the embarrassing state it was in. The young man stared at his winged beast, unable to believe this. He knew better than anyone else about the violence and cruelty exhibited by the winged beast. To tame it had been enough of a headache. He couldn't imagine how the extremely arrogant winged beast could end up in this awful state. The young man felt a strong terror coming from the winged beast. This sense of terror affected him as well. He began to be wary of Suaping. What happened? The young man couldn't understand. The broken claw and the fear both came out of nowhere. From beginning to end, the young man never saw Suaping make a move. Or, was Suaping so fast that he could not see it with his naked eyes? The plot had thickened. Suaping was at most about 20. To defeat the winged beast at this age was hard enough, not to mention taking action so fast that it was invisible at plain sight. How powerful would Suaping have to be? Many students came back to their senses after the initial shock. They turned to Suaping. Was that the actual strength of an advanced teacher? He had defeated the winged beast in an instant. He didn't have to take action to press down this violent beast and make it tremble. Not even the average advanced battle pet warrior could have achieved this. The only explanation was that Suaping was an 8th rank battle pet warrior. But, a master battle pet warrior at the age of 18? Those students knew Suaping's age after checking the Academy's website. Their amazement was stronger than the young man's. He was so young and yet so terrifying. Suaping came back to his senses to face those silent customers. He darted a glance at the shivering winged beast on the ground. From the intense fear in its eyes, he knew the winged beast was scared half dead. Inside, he asked the system, "What should I do?" The system answered calmly, "Since this is the first time, this is only a small punishment. Now that the customer has paid up, the host should carry on with the training." Suaping understood. He bent over, grabbed the winged beast's wings, and dragged it to the pet room in the back. The young man moved his lips, trying to make a sound, as he saw Suaping grabbing the pet. However, the words remained in his mouth. When he worked up the courage again, Suaping had vanished into the back of the store. Suaping came back to the storefront after the winged beast was thrown into the training space. The young man asked in a hurry, Sir, what did you do to my winged beast?" Suaping gave him a look of surprise. "Didn't you pay for the training?" "Of course, I put the winged beast aside for the moment so that I can have it trained later." "Ah? What?" The young man could not wrap his head around this. He didn't expect that Suaping would continue the training when the winged beast had offended him and he had taught it a lesson. The young man knew he couldn't be disrespectful to this young store owner anymore. Suaping had remained quiet and unmoving when he surprised the winged beast. This alone made it clear to the young man that Suaping was a formidable warrior. A talent with such strength at this young age was not someone to be provoked. "Please forgive me if I have offended you," the young man apologized at once. Suaping didn't think he had been offended. It was the pet that had tried to hurt him and it was not the young man's intention. Otherwise, the system would have punished the young man as well. "Don't worry. It's just a small punishment. I will return the pet to you when the training is done." The young man was relieved. "Thank you." Suaping waved his hand. "Do you want anything else? If not, please step aside." The young man didn't know what to say in reply. He stood at the side. He threw some glances into the store. However, the doors were closed and he couldn't see anything. While curious, he was afraid to go into the back. In his mind, this old and shabby store was dangerous. "Goodbye, sir." Since the young man couldn't find anything useful after he glanced around, he bid farewell to Suaping politely. Suaping just made an O sound without saying anything else. He was busy writing down the name and contact info of the next customer. The young man forced a bitter smile. He turned around and left quickly without making another attempt to say something. When he reached the street corner in the distance, he turned around and took one more look at this place to remember the name of the pet store. Pixie. That was a strange pet store with a terrifying young store owner. This was the label he devised for this pet store. Then, he left. "Mr. Su, you are awesome." That was a 5th rank winged beast, a pet with a bloodline of the 9th rank and an incredible pride. "How did you overwhelm it so quickly? I didn't even see you do a thing." "Right." That winged beast was scared out of its mind. After that young man left, many students finally came back from their stupor. They were so excited that their eyes were kindling. Previously, they had heard stories about Suaping. They weren't quite convinced and thought that it was Suaping's pets that were powerful. They suspected Suaping was from some major financial group. It turned out Suaping was just as powerful. The marks of the winged beast's urine and feces were still there. The smell was bad, but the students were still thrilled. Suaping was at their age. He could suppress the winged beast while simply standing there. On the other hand, those students lacked the courage to even face the winged beast. How huge the difference was! Outside the store, under a tree, Solingya was standing in the shade, secretly observing. When the winged beast reached out with its claw, she almost cried out in alarm. She wasn't afraid of the winged beast. She was afraid to see Suaping be seriously harmed by the winged beast. The change in events was mind-blowing and unbelievable. That was Suaping's strength? The strength that this guy had been hiding all this time. The expressions on her face shifted again and again. Everything seemed surreal. She knew that Suaping was probably strong. After all, he became an advanced teacher at the academy. Still, she had underestimated him. At this rate, without relying on pets, he was more powerful than she was. Suaping couldn't have achieved this overnight. Hence, Suaping had awakened a long time ago. It was just he had never shown it, just letting her make fun of him and bully him as she wished. All of a sudden, her eyes reddened. She bit her lower lip. A lump came up to her throat. She was filled with a complicated and yet unspeakable feeling.